Hey guys, Dr. T here with another video. If you watch any of my other videos, yeah, I am a doctor. I'm a PhD doctor, not an MD, so I'm more of a researcher, academic than a medical practitioner. Anyway, what that does allow me to do is read through literature, research, stuff like that, and I guess be able to decipher it decently well, understand statistics, things like that. So anyway, I've always tried to challenge myself and learn new things throughout my life. So I think that's my aim and my goal, what I hope to accomplish here in this channel. So one of the things, and like I said, if you watch anything else, I have trained people a lot on and off throughout my life, anywhere from competitive bodybuilders, fitness competitors, etc., power lifters, just people that want to lose weight and get healthier, that type of thing. So one of the things that you hear all the time, especially in like a gym setting, is everyone's number one goal that when they join a gym is, how do I lose weight? And let me tell you, I guess what I have seen throughout the years of why your diet or why your approach isn't working. First and foremost, people lie. It's kind of like that old TV show House, everybody lies. And it's not even like a knock on people. A lot of it is they're lying to themselves because they don't understand the nutrition, and they're just lying to themselves. I'll give you some examples. So, sat down with a personal training client, and he was having really difficulty losing weight. Same story I've heard 100 times. I'm having a really hard time losing weight. However, my diet is really clean. I get that a lot. My diet is really clean. Well, my idea of really clean and your idea of really clean are apparently two very different things. So then I always ask people, well, what's your idea of very clean eating? Well, I don't eat fast food. I don't eat a lot of sugars. Therefore, it's really clean. So, and he had a good 80 to 100 pounds probably to lose. So I'm like, something's not jiving. Have you done blood work? You've been to your doctor? Your thyroid levels are okay? Yes, 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 yes. So all that's taken care of, addressed. Next thing, he says, I even follow my weekly meals on an app, and I track everything I eat down to the calorie. So I'm just confused. I haven't lost any weight in like over a month. And I said, do you mind if I take a look at this thing, this app? And I said, I'm just going to take your app and I'm going to pick one random day out of the week, and we'll critique and kind of go over your meal choices, things like that. And maybe there's some things in here that'll jump out at me, right? I just randomly selected a Wednesday, for example, out of the month. And breakfast was terrible. It was like a bagel and cream cheese. Lunch was a sandwich with bread, obviously, and lunch meat. And then dinner was KFC, a 3-piece meal with a biscuit, mashed potatoes, which the mashed potatoes at KFC aren't even real potatoes. And if you're bored, Google what a 3-piece meal at Kentucky Fried Chicken consists of. The calories, the fat. The chicken is breaded in like a pancake batter, and then they deep fry it in vegetable oil. Worst thing you could possibly eat, right? Amongst one of the worst things you can possibly eat. And he said, oh, you must have just picked a bad day for me, right? So, okay, maybe you're right. I picked a cheat day, right? I'll just pick another random day on the list here out of the month. I pick another random day. It was equally as bad. I did that like 3 different times out of the month, and I said, okay, obviously my idea of clean eating and what you consider clean eating are very polar opposites on the spectrum, right? My idea of clean eating, even if you're not a carnivore or keto person, right? Like I said, if you watch anything else, I'm a carnivore person. However, you can lose weight. I am not 100% hardcore. That's the only way to live, right? Because I know most people honestly aren't going to live that way. I'm a little extreme. I get it. The average person doesn't want to live their life like that. However, you can lose weight not really by cutting calories, but making smart choices, right? I can go into this in a lot greater detail in future videos to not make this a 30-minute video, but pick things more like a Mediterranean style diet. Thomas DeLauer's done lots of videos on that, great resource. Or even like the CrossFit approach to their diet. Lots of meats, vegetables, some fruit. Eat low glycemic index carbs, prioritize protein, and not cut out all processed foods. That means breads, that means flours, crackers, cookies, sweets, obviously, alcohol, right? Cut out all those things. You're gonna see the average person, because the average American diet is honestly shit, is utter crap what the average American person eats. So when they go from that terrible food choices to just a better version and cut out all processed carbs, that alone, most people lose 10, 12 pounds pretty easily. After that is where it gets a little trickier when you're trying to get leaner and leaner. You have to kind of fine tune some things. So one, quit lying about your food choices and do an honest assessment, right? If you're tracking your food, that's the other thing. People lie. Worked with another lady, same kind of nonsense. I eat a really healthy diet. And then I always, again, pinpoint, okay, walk me through what a typical day looks like. Well, for breakfast, all I have is a muffin. Well, it turned out that was a blueberry muffin from Starbucks and some sort of fancy coffee, right? So you look up the carbohydrates on a blueberry muffin at Starbucks. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's got to be 80 plus grams of sugar in a Starbucks, and then the fancy foo-foo coffee on top of it, which is loaded with sugar. So right there at breakfast alone, you had 100 grams of crap sugar. You might as well have eaten 2 Snickers bars as far as what your body's response to those bogus carbohydrates. I call them bogus because they don't serve much purpose, right? Those two are the big ones. And then fads. I got, we'll just call them 2 people that are close to me. They're always on fad diets. Every time I see them, you know, we've all seen, if you've been around in the fitness world long enough, you've seen all the nonsense, the grapefruit diet, right, years ago. There's this, remember the canned soup diet? There's all these, it's been crazy diets, right? They're always on something. And so one, the industry is responsible for this nonsense, and then people, again, not being educated enough or doing diligent enough to do their own research and decipher it, etc., maybe just kind of latch onto something that sounds hopeful, right? Their newest approach, well, their second newest approach, I spoke to this couple. This is about a year ago, and she was telling me that now she's on this new diet, moderation, right? Everybody loves that. Oh, everything in moderation, right? Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Chaffee, he's a great resource, carnivore community. Check out his channel. He has a great line where he says, it's kind of like saying, well, a little bit of cocaine isn't that bad, right? It's just a little bit, or a little bit of meth, or a little bit of heroin. I only dabble in it, right? So the moderation diet always cracks me up. I'm like, all right, well, walk me through what that looks like in your mind. Well, I can eat anything I want, basically. It's just in moderation. Like, okay, so what does that look like in reality? Well, for breakfast, I have a little bowl of Cheerios. Well, Cheerios is absolute, utter garbage, number one. And I said that. And their response was, no, it has the heart healthy emblem on the box. And it does, right? If you look at a box of Cheerios, it has the heart healthy emblem on the, it's got to be good for you, was their response. And I kind of laughed and I said, you realize that's marketing, right? That's how they get you to buy Cheerios. You look, oh, it's heart healthy, it's got to be good for me, so I'm gonna eat a bowl of Cheerios for breakfast. Again, you might as well have had a Snickers bar. You might have had some Twinkies, right? They're a little worse, right? But you get my point. I don't eat breakfast. If I were to eat breakfast, what I would have is probably 3 or 4 eggs. And when I have anything, that's what I have, is I have 5 eggs for breakfast, maybe some bacon. 99% of the time I don't eat breakfast, and I have a protein shake about noon. This is my first, if you want to call it a meal of the day. So fad diets are perpetuated by the fitness industry, one, who are trying to make a buck, and two, the food industry, which doesn't give two craps about your health. They want to sell products. They want to sell cereal. They want to sell nonsense. Like I said in one of my other videos, all these keto desserts and packaged foods at the grocery store. Next time you're there, flip over, look at the ingredients. Chances are they have 15, 20 ingredients. 90% of them you can't even pronounce, never even heard of. You don't know what the hell they are. They're not actually keto. Just because it says it on the package doesn't mean it's actually true, right? It's kind of like that old funny thing. Well, I seen it on the internet. It's got to be true. You got to do your research. I fell into that trap years ago. I was dieting for a competition, and I started doing sugar-free Jell-O. Turns out the ingredients in sugar-free Jell-O spike your insulin pretty significantly. One, the ingredients that they put in there to bind it to make it thicker, and then two, the sweetness, the artificial sweeteners in there. Your body thinks it's sweet, and it can't kind of differentiate the difference between that and actual sugar. So little things like that I think most people just overlook. And stick to basics. Like I said, for simplicity, if you're not willing to jump into hardcore keto, hardcore carnivore, I get it. Start with step one, cut out all processed foods. Simplest advice I can give you is anything in a box, probably don't buy it, right? Anything that's packaged, don't buy it. Stick to meats, vegetables, fruit, that's it. Maybe some milk, whole cream. That's about it. Fish, eggs, butter, the basics. You do that, and you're gonna make leaps and bounds more improvement than everything in moderation. Because everything in moderation diet is a joke. It's really just an excuse to eat what you want. Just eat smaller portions. Because this couple, and I've heard this for decades, honestly, doing what I've done, and people say, well, you can have a dessert, just a little dessert, right? One scoop of ice cream instead of 3. Sure, it's like saying, yeah, just have one hit of meth instead of, I don't smoke a whole, I don't even know how meth is done, but you get the point that it's still horrible for you, right? I'm not saying I never cheat. If you watch my other videos, I do, but I limit it about once a month. And it's very minor when I do. And sometimes I'll go 2 months before I cheat. So I'm not unhuman. I do live a normal life. And that's the other thing is I heard someone the other day say, I'd love to lose weight, but I'm not going to starve myself to death. Do I look like I starve myself to death? I'm 200 pounds. I don't starve myself to death. I eat when I'm hungry. Other than some days when I said, if you watched anything before, I throw in some intermittent fast, or I throw in a 24-hour fast here and there. On those days, I'm not going to lie, I do get a little hungry. But 90% of the time, when I'm hungry, I eat. I eat very good dinners. I don't go to bed hungry. I'm not starving all day. I'm not starving myself to death. I'm not any of that. That's just another myth that people like to throw around or use, I think, honestly, as an excuse. Well, I'd like to lose weight, but I'm not going to starve myself. Well, it's about right food choices. One of the reasons you feel like you're starving is because you're ingesting high amounts of carbohydrates all day. So it spikes your glucose, stays elevated for a long time. As it comes back down, you get hungry right away, and your body, your mind, your brain craves the glucose, the carbs, and you want them again. You get really hungry. It's not very satiating. So it's the fat that helps keep you fuller, the protein, etc. So try those little tips, honestly, and you're going to be amazed. And if you want to realistically track your food, realistically do it. Don't bullshit yourself and claim that you're eating clean when in fact chances are your idea of clean eating and reality of clean eating are don't really align with one another, honestly, if losing weight is your goal. So I'll get more down the weeds later. Like I said, just kind of a quick one to help maybe get you started, get you on the right track. All right, hope that helps. See you guys.